This Morning, America's #1 early morning news.
Good Thursday morning. I'm Marcy Gonzalez in for Diana Perez.
And I'm John Muller. We begin with that breaking news. Australia's Department of Defense has released these satellite images of debris, two objects which may be related to the missing flight. One of the pieces of debris is thought to be as large as 78 feet long, the other approximately 16 feet long.
The area where the debris has been spotted is approximately 1,500 miles southwest of Perth, Australia. In that vicinity, the ocean is well over a mile deep, if not more. It's in the area known to mariners as the Roaring Forties, southern latitudes notorious for wild weather and waves. An American P-8 Poseidon subhunter is over the scene searching for the debris at this moment.
The plane's long-range radar can provide high-resolution images over both water and land. The hope is that it can provide a clearer picture of any pieces of debris. ABC's David Wright is on the plane, and he filed this report on his way to the search scene.
Hey, this is David Wright. I am on board a U.S. Navy P-8 Poseidon. That's a search and rescue vessel. The call sign for this flight is Rescue 74. We're past a search an area that's headed towards the South Pole from almost due south of Kuala Lumpur. And what we're being told by the flight crew here is that they have some intelligence now that there is some sort of debris in the water. They're not clear what. We will be the first plane on site. And we are just descending through the clouds right now. This plane has some of the highest tech gear available, much of it classified. And if anybody is likely to find something down there, this plane has a very good opportunity to do so. It's a serious enough sighting of debris that not only is this plane headed into the area, but two Australian planes are also headed this way. They're going to be combing the waters for the next several hours. We'll be searching for 3 hours, looking both visually from the plane and also with all the high-tech gear they have on board to see what this might be in the water. It may be a false alarm, but they seem to be treating it as a very promising sign. It's about 1,400 miles from Antarctica, 2,775 miles south-southwest of Kuala Lumpur, and about 1,300 miles from Australia. We've been traveling 3 hours just to get to this site. We'll have 3 hours close to the water to search for whatever might be down there, and then 3 hours to fly back. This is David Wright aboard a U.S. Navy P-8 Poseidon, call sign Rescue 74, about 1,300 miles southwest of Australia.
Our thanks to David Wright.
And now let's go to ABC News aviation expert Stephen Ganyard for his take on these developments.
Don't get radar returns off of nothing. So it sounds to me that we've indeed found the wreckage. You know that they've been looking in a certain area. I think what's probably happened here is that the U.S. intelligence community has been brought to bear, and they've been able to use some of the satellite data of that part of the ocean based on some of the forensics David was talking about with the pinging down south. And so they've been focusing very, very intently on this area. Earlier in the day, we saw that the Australians focused their search area in a very particular way, which to us was a clue that they were zeroing in on where they thought the actual impact was. It's all being run through through a rescue coordination center. Again, as David says, the Australians are very professional. Been working hand in hand with the U.S. The U.S. and Navy and the Australian Air Force are very used to working together. I'm sure there's all sorts of coordination going on. My guess is what's going to happen now is you're going to get you'll have the P3 and the P8, which have satellite communications. Will go over, if they find some wreckage, see some wreckage, they'll take pictures and they'll send that back via satellite. I think that we'll get an ID pretty quickly here. Just one thing to note: we saw that the Australian Prime Minister Tony Abbott called the Malaysian Prime Minister with this news a couple hours ago. To me, that's pretty clear signature that this is something that they think they have found, and the courtesy call means that this is probably what we've been looking for. I think if they have pretty good belief that this is it, I think they're probably dispatching ships to the area. We heard in the press conference that a merchant ship had been sent to the area. Yes, we want to find wreckage. Yes, we want to confirm that this is in fact the aircraft and that we have the area. But now, as David said, we need to do some forensics and we need to do some meteorological and oceanography to figure out where this actually came from. And yes, this is good news, but we also need to remember that in the Air France mishap, we were on top of that wreckage 5 days after the mishap. But it took us 2 years, even though we were right on top of that wreckage, to find the black boxes. So we still have a long way to go. There's something good to be had in finally finding the wreckage and hopefully bringing closure to these families. But in terms of solving this mystery, we have a long way to go.
And ABC's David Curley has been following the search for Flight 370 since the very beginning.
He filed this report a short time ago about what happens next if, in fact, this turns out to be the plane debris.
Ocean currents have undoubtedly carried this debris some period of time and some distance. So they'll bring in oceanographers who will look at the currents in this specific area and then track it back. They can look at those currents and how many days have gone back and now narrow the circle significantly so you can get some of these Navy vessels, these surface ships over that area to start listening to the pingers from the black boxes. Now those batteries on those black boxes have 2+ more weeks on them. So if this is it and you get vessels on station rather quickly, there's a good chance you can hear it. You can hear those pingers up to 20,000 feet down. This is very deep water in the southern Indian Ocean, and apparently there are a couple of very deep crevasses there as well. So it's they want to get some vessels out there and start listening once they track back the debris, if it is in fact the right debris.
All right, so let's recap what we know at this moment regarding the developments in the search for Malaysia Flight 370.
Australia's Department of Defense has released satellite images of debris, 2 objects which may be related to the missing flight. One of the pieces of debris is thought to be as large as 78 feet long, the other approximately 16 feet long.
America's P-8 Poseidon sub-hunting plane is on the scene searching right now, and other aircraft and at least 1 merchant ship are also responding. The location is approximately 1,500 miles southwest of Perth, Australia, where the general depth of the ocean floor is well over 1 mile deep.
Now, the story is changing rapidly. We will have more later this half hour and, of course, on Good Morning America.